we're going to kind of invite debate and invite people to discuss it, because obviously a lot of people would say that this is basically cultural theft and we shouldn't have things like this. They should be returned to Benin, or they should be, you know, the various things that museums have got should be returned to their country of origin. And other people would argue that they were legitimately taken and oh yeah, that bit.
This bit. So this was the same attack as when the missiles hit. This was a 20mm cannon hole. So it's basically 2 centimetres is the size of the bullet that did that damage. And this went through into the ops room where a guy called Lieutenant Commander Lee Hume was on the radio talking to all the Sea Harriers, directing them onto the Argentinian aircraft that were attacking. And he was wounded in the arm but carried on talking. And he got mentioned in dispatches for doing it. But at the end of the war, they put the repair on it. On the back, they just weld a sort of patch over the hole. And when it was taken off, it was given to his wife because she was looking after all the families at home. And when they came, it's midshipman Thorsten Arkell, and it still has all the contents, as you can see. And what's unusual about this one is that when he was 17, from I think it was Dartmouth at the time, as part of their training, they went off on a cruise, and he caught scarlet fever and died. So all the contents stayed pretty much as it was. He's got all his biography, and he was actually sending letters back to his family and things, so we had all the full story. And so it's about as complete as you can get. So it's got his telescope, all his sextant. In here, there's a little wash basin, Bible, various bits and pieces. And these little trays that sit on the top, and then his uniform would have been underneath. We didn't get his uniform, so we haven't got that. But this is going in the Navy Life section, I think. So it's individual stories about how people live. I think that's a sextant. Sextant. And then this, in this box, bits. We were really excited because when we first had it, that box was locked, and you can feel that there was something in there because it was rattling. And in the end, we tried picking the lock and doing everything, and in the end, had to break the lock to get in. And it was just these little bits, but they're actually training, so he would have had to make that as part of his engineering, so they have to make all the thread, and it's got his initials on, so it's part of their study, it's part of his sample, and then the gauges, so it does have that.
Obviously proud of that. I keep that. That was my first screw. Oh, that's really good, isn't it?
That's amazing.
So it's quite nice. So obviously displaying it's a little Northwest Passage, which freezes up. It's only open for a few months a year. And they thought if they can find that, then they can do shipping across. And he never came back, so they sent various expeditions to go and find him. And HMS Resolute was one of them. She got stuck in the ice as well. The crew managed to walk to safety, but the ice melted a few months later and the ship was floated off. It was picked up by the Americans, who then took it back to the Navy and said, "We found this floating around, do you want it back?" And they said yes, and when the ship was finally broken up, Queen Victoria, as a thank you, had some tables made, and one is the President's desk in the Oval Office, so it's this main, the one you see in all the photos, the Oval Office. And she had this one done as a writing desk for the Royal Yacht. And so when Walt Disney made Book of Treasures 2, Book of Secrets, they were trying to use real stories to connect in the film. And so they came over here expecting to see an exact copy of the President's desk. And then the story said, no, this is it. No, it's not really the President's desk. And they were going to set the film actually in Portsmouth to try and make it an extra bit of realism where they actually breaks into the museum and then finds it.
That would have been cool.